Hey guys, what's up? I'm Steph. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you are new here, let me know what you think. If you're subscribed, thank you so much for your comments, you guys. Really, thank you. Please keep them coming. I want a community here where we can all kind of talk to each other and share information. So I just did a video, what to expect emotionally if you've just been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And I want to do this video is logistically, like about the appointments and stuff like that, what I've learned over the last 6 years. So if you've just been diagnosed and you're confident with your diagnosis, that's amazing. If you're not confident with your diagnosis, do what your doctor says, but set up an appointment with a different doctor, meaning like if you've already been prescribed medication, take the medication and set up an appointment with a different doctor if you're not confident in the first one. You have the right to choose your doctor. You might not have the insurance that allows you to choose your doctor, but you should be able to get a different doctor if you don't like your first doctor. This is just sometimes loopholes you have to go around. Anywho, so in the beginning for me, what happened was it's a process getting used to the medication. The average person with bipolar disorder is on 6 different types of medication. But it doesn't have to be that way. I would be cautious if you go to, for me personally, and I don't really like to, this is not medical advice that I give on my channel, FYI. It's just like what I would do, what I have done, my experience. What I would do if I went to a doctor and they immediately prescribed me 6 different types of medication is I would do what they say and then make an appointment for a different doctor immediately, because I think that there are so many different medications for bipolar disorder that automatically starting on a bunch of different ones is probably not a good way to go. That's just my opinion. But I'm not a doctor. Do what your doctor says. But it doesn't hurt to ask another doctor. Currently, I am on 3 medications. And it hasn't really gone over that over the last 6 years. I started, so what happened was I was put on Abilify in jail because my mental illness put me in jail. And I was on 15 milligrams, which you can be on for bipolar 1, and it can bring you out of psychosis. And so I went to the doctor, and the first thing she did was change the Abilify to Lamictal, because she said that Abilify has more long-term side effects and Lamictal doesn't. It's a very popular drug for bipolar disorder, so she put me on Lamictal. I started on 150 milligrams and then went up to 200 milligrams. And then from there, I stayed at 200 milligrams for probably about a year. And then, no, 2 years. Maybe even more, maybe 3 years. Yeah, I think I stayed on Lamictal 200 milligrams for about 2-3 years maybe, but I did add in and take out some stuff for PTSD, Prazosin, which is for PTSD because I was having really bad night sweats. Like I said, if you saw the other video, if I had been diagnosed and medicated much sooner, I wouldn't have the level of PTSD that I have, which is really severe. So yeah, so I would wake up in a cold sweat, and so I wasn't sleeping. So I would go on and off Prazosin because it depended what was happening in my life at when I have stress in my life, the PTSD comes back and goes up and stuff like that. So so the Lamictal I've been on for, for 6 years. I've been on Lamictal. I've gone up to 400 milligrams. 2020 was really hard, I think, for me and the whole entire rest of the world. So my meds got adjusted quite a bit then. So Freddie passed away a month ago, was killed brutally in front of my face. My dog, who I adopted, his adoption story is on my YouTube channel if you want to check that out. But I'll leave some links below for some videos that I've talked about. So that one is one of them, Freddie. So Freddie passed away, and I had to add an antipsychotic because I didn't sleep for 3 days and had to put myself in the hospital. So I added Geodon. So currently I'm on Lamictal, which is a maintenance drug for the euthymic state, which is where you're not experiencing mania and you're not experiencing severe depression, you're just kind of like on your level. Um, and Geodon is an antipsychotic, which I added, which is not going to be permanent. And I saw my doctor, she said probably keep on that for until the end of summer. And then I'll be able to go off of that. So I only see my doctor. So in the beginning, I was seeing my doctor, my psychiatrist, about once a month, but then it went to once every 3 months. And I only see her once every 3 months, and I see her if more frequently if I'm having issues, if I need my medication adjusted. My first appointment lasted like maybe 20-30 minutes, where I told her my history, and that's when she gave me my diagnosis. I had had enough of a history to pretty much give me my diagnosis right off the bat, but sometimes it takes a long time to be diagnosed with bipolar disorder. It's misdiagnosed a lot. Borderline personality disorder is misdiagnosed as bipolar disorder often, because a lot of the symptoms look similar. And there's two types of bipolar, if you're not already aware. I think I have a video talking about that too. So the medication, it's not that hard, like side effects are scary, but I haven't experienced any side effects on the current medications that I'm on. And I did experience, it's really important to pay attention to side effects. I did experience side effects with prazosin. Talked about this in another video. The manufacturer of your medication matters. I don't know, not with all medications, but it mattered with prazosin. Prazosin is a blood pressure medication, and if a different manufacturer compounds the medication differently, it can have a different effect on you. I don't think this is something that happens all the time, but that medications change manufacturers, but it does happen, and it is something you should know about with medication, because I was on prazosin for PTSD, moved up to 5 milligrams and was totally fine. Went off of prazosin. Year and a half later, got back on prazosin on 1 milligram and was getting horrible vertigo. And when I talked to my doctor about it, she said that it was because the manufacturer changed. And then I asked her, well, do I have to worry about this with my Lamictal? And she said, no, it's totally different. So I don't know what the hell that difference is, but don't panic. Just know about that. So that's medication. I've had horrible experiences with medication, and I've had amazing experiences. It's a process. Sometimes it takes a while. Once, like I said in my other video, it sucks getting this diagnosis, but once you get everything figured out, so much stuff is going to be so much better. You're going to have so much more confidence. You're going to feel so much better about yourself. You're going to know how to deal with these things before that you had no idea were actual things that you needed to deal with. So medication it's not that bad. You're not sitting in appointments every week or even every month. It's 4 times a year. If you're stable, that's not hard. And if you're diagnosed early enough, you probably won't even have to take that many medications. I mean, medication, you're going to have to take something, period. You don't get to not be on medication for bipolar disorder. It doesn't work that way. You'll die. That's why we die on average somewhere between 8 to 12 years less than the average person because of non-med compliance. So take your medication. It's not an option. Finding a doctor that you trust and feel you want to make sure that your doctor listens to you. Do not ever feel guilty or shameful about talking about your symptoms. If you feel like you want to kill yourself, you shouldn't be ashamed to say that. I know what it's like to be ashamed to say that. I've been in a psychiatrist's office ashamed to tell the psychiatrist, I want to kill myself. I want to die. Every day I want to die. It's hard to share those deep, scary feelings with another person, even if they are a doctor. But just do it. Just tell them the truth. Even me, I even told my psychiatrist, yeah, I've been smoking pot. And these things we have to be honest with. You have to be honest with your psychiatrist. They're giving you medication for your brain, so you have to be honest. If you're drinking, some of the drugs do not mix with alcohol. You have to be honest with your psychiatrist, so then maybe they'll give you medication that's like, hey, this person won't stop drinking no matter what I tell them. Let me give them a different medication. Group therapy is a really great resource. I went to group therapy twice when I was really struggling, intensive outpatient therapy, and it is a very nice feeling to be around other people that have your same issues or have a mental illness like you, or maybe have a mental illness that is affecting their life more so than yours is affecting yours, to make you feel humble. Um, just to be around other people that are like you, it's comforting and it's there as a resource. In your community, look for, you don't have to have a full-time therapist, but you should. In my opinion, you should. I went to therapy for 4 years straight. I'm not currently in therapy. um, I probably should go back, but my insurance stopped covering my one therapist, and I just haven't found a new therapist yet. But I've been in intensive outpatient. Um, Exercise and is really important. That helps you cardio exercise can help you regrow gray matter in your brain. As far as tips for what you can do, a few people, I asked a couple of people who are subscribed to the channel about what has helped them, and the answers were the cool down method to like bring yourself back down to reality if you're experiencing rage or anger, which is like the 5 things. You can pick 5 things. You just kind of, to draw your focus, you pick 5 things you can hear, 5 things you can see, 5 things you can smell, 5 things you can touch, or even just one. They're different cool down methods. One person was saying that they do math equations in their head to help them calm down, and this really activates certain parts of the brain that help you calm down. Um, Somebody else said that they leave things in the exact same place and follow a routine. I'm really bad about this. I need to have more of a routine in my life because I'm kind of all over the place. But another big thing is leaving things in the exact same place, like your keys. Oh, I lose my keys all the time. And like, just putting them in the same place relieves so much stress, because if you lose something like your keys, like that's so much stress and anxiety, and it just activates. And there's something called trigger stacking. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but like one thing just triggers you to be upset, so then the next little thing is going to make you even more angry and more angry. So yeah, so that things like that will help. Routine, exercise. You cannot pull an all-nighter. If you're bipolar and you're going to school and you want to cram at the last second, this is a terrible idea. Don't do this. Staying up all night is the worst thing that you can do for yourself. Sleep is crucial. If you do nothing else for your mental illness other than take medication, sleep would be the most important. Sticking to a sleep schedule. This is like so hard for somebody who's young and in college and in school, and it sucks to be told like, oh hey, you're like this, so you have to do it this way. You can't just go out there and be a free young college student. I wasn't diagnosed at that point, but trying to imagine somebody telling me back at 23 or 25, hey, you can't go out every night, and maybe you shouldn't like hook up with so many guys you meet at clubs. Maybe that's hypersexuality behavior. Maybe you shouldn't, stay up till 4 in the morning and then go work a 10-hour shift the next day in retail on your feet. Like I would have never done some of the things that I did before. And I would have probably a lot of the things I would have done the same. But if I had done things differently, my mental health would be in a better spot. I wouldn't have suffered from so much depression. One thing that I did do in college, which was driven by vanity, but ended up being really good for me, was I got really into exercise. I did cardio exercise every single day. So that really helped because cardio exercise and yoga, these things really help your brain, and they help your emotions. So yeah, the outside of that, I talked about being honest. I talked about things to avoid. Caffeine is really bad for us. I really struggle with this. I love coffee. I'm addicted to coffee. I have one right here, cold brew, as a matter of fact. It's really hard to quit coffee. It's so hard to quit coffee, but it is very, very bad for you. And I've noticed when I do drink coffee, my fuse is so much shorter. I snap really quickly. So, you know, of course, drugs, of course, marijuana is not good for you. If you're doing that, be honest with your psychiatrist. CBD is better. Um, if you have to do something like that, smoking cigarettes and drinking, all these things, anything that affects your brain is going to be hard on your mental illness. The last thing that I want to say is like community resources. Like if you and your support system, say you've just been diagnosed and you are young, you know, like you're a teenager and you want your teacher to know why you're missing so much school, but you don't want to tell them yourself. Maybe you want your parents to tell them. Like, there's all these different things that I feel like as a parent they could ask their kid, hey, what can I do to help you? If you're a parent and you've just had somebody diagnosed, what do you want help with? Do you want me to go to your appointments with you? Do you want me to back off? Do you want me to remind you and ask you about your medications? Do you want me to back off? Do you want to talk about your illness? Do you not? I feel like those kind of things could really help a young person being diagnosed if it's coming from a parent or a loved one or a friend. I feel like for me personally, I just really would have loved it if like somebody would have said, you know, like, wow, what did that feel like? You know, like instead of you were such a jerk to me. But 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 that's another thing too, making amends. You want to make sure that, you know, it's really hard to see other people's pain when you've been through a nightmare yourself. At some point we do need to recognize other people's feelings and how we've hurt them. Which I've done, but sometimes like it's hard. Like an apology is never enough for people. It's not. It's just not. You can't change the past. All you can do is say, "Hey, this was my illness," and it's hard. It's hard. But yeah, my husband's a support system. We work as a team. He's the reason why I ended up in the hospital when I did this last time, because he helped me and I trust him. And so it's important to have an escape plan. If you do start having feelings of being manic or hypomanic, hypomania is a stage right before mania. If you're bipolar 1, you experience psychosis. So yeah, it gets better, and there's NAMI, which is, you can Google NAMI, you can Google bipolar support near me. There's international bipolar. There's all different kinds of resources that you can find online. You can talk to your school counselor at college. If you have a family who does not recognize mental illness, I'm sorry. I know this happens a lot. Look for outside support groups. I know that there are certain cultures that think that mental illness is fake. It's not. So yeah, it makes me sad saying that, because I know that there's people that are treated like that, and like, yeah. So anyway, I think I went over everything. Hopefully these 2 videos that I did for you guys today kind of match up and give you enough information as far as what to expect. And I hope that you have some kind of like positivity behind looking at, hey, things are going to get better. I can go over the hill now and see what's on the other side. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please comment, thumbs up. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what kind of video you want to see next. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.